foremost reasons. One is, it's like a stepping block to your future job, and the second being that it gives you a practical lab, as I call it, where you can
Right.
actually practice what you've learned, and develop those relationships, people who you'd be interacting with in the future. So therefore, internships are absolutely and critical to a student's life. Yes,
So internships is something that every person who goes for it should take it very seriously and should
absolutely,
apply. Uh,
absolutely, yes.
so when the people send their resume for internship, what do you think the firms look for in the resume?
Okay, this is a question I get very, very often, and students. What students must keep in mind is the person who you've applied to don't have the benefit of knowing you personally. You know, so you need to put in all the qualities that you think would make you suitable for the job. Sometimes I get asked, "Ma'am, is academic rank? Do you need to be a rank holder to secure a good internship?" Whereas rank does not actually denote your institution. What it shows is a consistent, coordinated effort, a focused effort towards achieving a goal. And I think that gives a stranger who does not have the benefit of knowing you an idea as to what kind of an individual you are and how you perform at the job. So I'm not saying rank is the only thing, but what I'm saying is try and bring out all that you can in that two-page document, which we call a CV. All the best features that you can about yourself in it. And what I mean by it is I've often seen students miss out on referring to their internal achievements. They are so focused on the external competition, the external programs that they have attended that they often forget to mention what they have done internally. And I always advise students that because the person reviewing your CV is a total stranger, what's important for you is to give a perspective. For example, it's not just enough to say you are 13th in a class or 14th in a class, say 14th in a class of 60 students.
Debulin, I
You
have to
will,
interrupt you for a
yeah,
minute. Your voice is becoming little feeble. If you can come either close or you can have a mic or something.
is this better?
Yeah, guys, just tell me if it is better. You just say something so that we can
Is,
check the
is this
response.
better?
A little louder, I think, perhaps we need.
I don't know what, let me see if I can, it's on full volume.
Either you come little close.
Oh, well. Is this better now?
Yeah, it's much better.
It's much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was thinking, what I was telling Charu, what's important is to always keep in mind that the person reviewing your CV does not know you. It's he or she is a complete stranger. So it's important for you to give as much of perspective to your achievements. It's not just enough to say what your achievements were. For example, if you've participated, in moods like Jessup and all of those, people know about it. But the ones that are of lesser, people know less about them. It's important to also state the number of participants who qualified in the initial round. So even if you came 10th, don't hesitate to mention that achievement because it definitely sets you apart from the others who either didn't participate at all or who didn't even qualify for the external rounds. So whatever be your achievements, make sure that you quantify it and give a perspective. So rank is important. What is important are your extracurricular activities, both external as well as internal, because people often miss out from listing out their internal achievements. So even if you've participated in the internal rounds of a competition in your university, do make a mention of it. Another thing people often feel is not important to mention in the CV, but I can tell you it's important, is your organization capacity. So if you've organized something or helped in organizing, do make a mention of it because soft skills in a job are as important as your legal skills. So that's what about I can think about. And yeah, do make sure there are no typos. Make sure it's listed out. So often people write my CGPA is 7, but 7 out of what, Charu? You need to
Right.
mention because different universities have different grading system. So I'm familiar, for example, with the grading system of NUJS. So I don't know how other universities operate. So it's very important to give a perspective. Yeah.
Right. So your CV must be speaking one, as if you are going to present
Correct.
yourself in person.
Yeah, and
The
as if
way
the
you
person
write,
knows,
it should
yeah,
be
as if the person knows nothing about you. So just
true.
keep that in mind, when writing your CV. Yes.
Right. So, what do you suggest? What all activities should students undertake that they have a better chances of getting placed as interns? Like in India, we have to apply 2 months, 6 months beforehand to get a place.
Not an internship bank, I can tell you. But yeah, you're right, Charu. You're absolutely right. So my advice to anyone who's watching this webinar is grab any opportunity that comes your way. No opportunity is small. Even till this date, I follow it. If someone tells me that, Debs, you have to go and study chemistry at some seminar that's happening nearby your house, Charu, I would still go, even though chemistry and law are really totally very unrelated. The idea being that you don't know who you will end up meeting in that conference. So guys, the message that I want to try and give you across is university is one of those platforms where you have a scope of trying out and checking for yourself what you're good at. So do grab every opportunity that comes your way. Don't think it's an internal event, so it won't add much value to my CV. Everything helps you take that extra step and mile and brings you closer to that dream job that you've always thought of. So advice is grab every opportunity that comes your way. I often get asked, Charu, that, ma'am, I don't come from a top law school, so there isn't much happening, in the sense not many competitors approach us for many competitions. My advice in that scenario would be create opportunities for yourself. Write a blog, bring about a website. Things like this don't require external input. These are things you can do on your own. Start an initiative of, even like, say, educating students. Pro bono activities really count because it shows an initiative without any monetary benefit associated with it, and it shows a kind of a mindset where you want to give back to the society, and that's something I can tell you is very coveted, at least for international internships and job opportunities. So create opportunities, gather 4 or 5 people from, say, your domestic helpers, teach them after school, impart legal education, be an active participant of your legal aid society. So you really don't always have to depend on external opportunities. Create those opportunities yourself if opportunities don't come knocking at your door. And even if something is on the face of it not related to law, say, for example, you get the chance to go and practice or hone your cricket skills, absolutely go for it. Because I can tell you from experience, Charu, what happened was one of the youngsters I knew ended up at an interview board where the person interviewing him was a cricket fanatic. And this youngster loved cricket, and most of the interview they started and kept talking about cricket, and that's where they bonded. So what I'm trying to say is absolutely anything and everything. Keep yourself busy. I think wasting time is the most criminal thing you can do at university. Either it need not be only in the area of law. Do what you're passionate about, and things will add up and will definitely help you secure the job that you want later. Yeah.
Okay. There are two questions which have come from the students, and I think I should have cast them. How
Okay.
to fit everything into 2 pages, and how to draft your cover letter.
Okay, so the way when I was a student, Charu, and I had to draft my CV, you should use the words in your CV like the way you would spend money. The way you wouldn't go about spending money, anywhere and everywhere, and you only spend money where it adds value. So every word in your CV, make sure it adds value. So check and recheck those words. If something you've written in your CV can be is repetitive or really doesn't add value. For example, I'm very trustworthy. You can just say trustworthy. I'm just giving an example. That's not something you write in your CV. But what I'm trying to say is treat every word that you put into your CV as if it adds value. And what other things that I've found personally very helpful is, for example, you list out your major achievements, your most recent achievements or major achievements, even if they happened a few years ago, and then say, and similar activities. And what it does, Charu, is it gives you that talking point. When in an interview, it leaves that bit of suspense out there. So you list out all the major things, and for the ones that are not that important or have happened a few years ago, you kind of use words like, and similar activities or something. So that still gives you a chance to kind of speak about your achievements. Sorry, the other question was how to write a cover letter,
Cover
right?
page. I mean, how should your cover letter should be like?
Yeah. So most of the times, Charu, what I've seen students do is tell me why they want the internship and how the internship will help them. Remember, everything in life is a two-way process. So you shouldn't just talk about how the internship will be helping you. What is important is you highlight how that internship would be helping the internship offerer too. And that's where good candidates score over those who are still trying to get the ropes of securing a good internship. So, what's important before you write a cover letter is to read, reread the job requirements or the internship requirements. And what you have to do in your cover letter is match each of the requirements that the internship offer has requested for with the qualifications that you bring on the table. So, say, for example, your job offerer has requested for someone with experience in the field of competition law, just say, for example. So, your first and foremost point should be to say how experienced or what you bring in the area of competition law. So, instead of highlighting generally what your achievements have been, so it's like a dating process, Charu. So you just match the qualities. So whatever the internship offerer has requested for, you kind of tell him or her how you match those qualities, and that is a sample of a good covering letter. Yeah.
Right. And there is one pertinent question which is coming, that should we put our photographs on the
No,
application that we make?
no.
Because lot many people have started putting. Uh,
It doesn't add any value to me, Charu. But if you please put a photograph, it's not compulsory. It's not even compulsory in an international context. But if what I'm trying to say is, if you go ahead and put your photo, please absolutely make sure it's a professional looking photo. No pouting faces. You won't believe, Charu, how many times I get pouting faces, and I get, women who are not women and men who are not very professionally dressed. Maybe they are in their casuals. So if you go ahead and put your photo out there, make sure it's a headshot only, and make it look a little more professional, Charu. That would be the message.
yeah.
But if the question to me is it compulsory? Will I reject a CV simply because a photo or a face is not attached to it? Absolutely not. Yeah.
True. And before we go ahead, I mean, I just want to tell our listeners and viewers that we will be taking question answers after the end of the questions that I put to you. And so we next move to the next leg. What are the essential soft skills that you think a person should have, and what are the skills he can hone while he's at the internship?
Charu, you would know, you're an experienced advocate yourself. Career is all about extension of relationships. How there is a reason why a certain advocate's practice is more busy than someone else. Of course, legal skills are important, but I tell you from experience, Charu, I'll pick up the phone and talk to someone who I'm comfortable with speaking. So, what I want to emphasize and re emphasize, and this is often something I feel in the Indian context we lose out, there is so much of emphasis on academics and on law that people forget the soft skills. And let me tell you, they are as important, if not more important, than what you bring to the table in terms of legal skills. So, and especially if you're applying for foreign internships or foreign jobs, the first thing, Charu, when I interview candidates, I'm told is to check whether the candidate will be a good fit into the team. And what I mean by that is, whether we are not checking whether you're a good lawyer in the first instance. What we are absolutely, and we want to get this right, is we've taken time to build the team. So we want someone friendly, someone enthusiastic, someone who shows in a team spirit. So these qualities, I cannot emphasize to you how important they are, especially when you are applying for jobs abroad or internships abroad, where the emphasis on soft skills is much more. Remember, the first impression you create with a person is the way you say hi, hello, and reach out to the person, as opposed to your legal skills. I mean, no one is going to come knocking at your door and you will start rattling about law. It's all about how you smile, how you talk, how you create that first impression, and then the legal part of it comes. So it's absolutely important. Uh, so of course, internships, the major focus is on picking up the nuances of the job. But what I would really advise all interns to keep a watch out for is how to check out how your mentor is addressing queries, how your mentor is dealing with problems. And these are things which you should unconsciously or consciously pick up during your internship period. So absolutely important. I am a strong supporter of soft skills, especially because ultimately it will be these relationships which will determine how successful you are in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's move to the next question. Like, okay, you have secured your internship. Now, how should you ace it? How should your one's conduct be?
Sure, sure.
What do you look at?
So, Charu, I mean, this is a very important question, because if you don't know what is expected out of you, how do you measure if you are at all matching up to the expectations? So, I absolutely think that when you walk into the door of the office where you're going to intern, it's very important for you to realize what are the expectations. So, it's absolutely mandatory that you lay out the expectations of your internship offerer very clearly in your mind, and what could those expectations be. So the first and foremost is, Charu, I'm sure none of us are expecting Fali Nariman or Palkiwala walking in through our doors. So what I'm trying to say, interns, students, we are not expecting you to be ace legal experts. If that's the case, then you're taking away our jobs. So what we are definitely expecting out of interns, especially at your level, see, when we are judging you, we do keep in mind the level of education or where you are in your university. So we are not expecting legal experts, but we are definitely expecting people who are diligent, who are able to absorb information, who are proactive. And there are many things during the internship period which are within your control. For example, punctuality. Please be punctual. There's no excuse for not being punctual. And when I say be punctual, that does not itself show that you are someone who comes by on time. That shows someone who has a certain amount of discipline, focus. It shows enthusiasm. So your turning up on time just does not show that you are someone who just turns up on time. There are many other behavioral traits that one can determine from it. So be punctual, be very professionally neat looking, dressed, be very, very proactive, because these things are within your control. And the application of the law and all of that, when we come to that front, be extra careful that if your senior has given you a particular comment on something. Yeah. So make sure that comment is not just reflected in that particular turnaround of documents. If that comment were to be applicable in later part of the work that you do for the person, keep that in mind, because make sure that your senior does not have to repeat the same instruction specifically for other jobs that might come in future. What will set you apart as a good intern is if you are able to absorb that instruction, not just for that particular turnaround of work, but also for later turnarounds of work. So a simple example would be if your senior has asked for a printout of a particular research work that you've done, make sure next time when you go with the research work, even before your senior asks a printout, you already have the printout ready. It's all about observe your senior's behavior, because there's no correct way of doing something. Every senior has a different way and a preference in which he or she would like their intern to work. There is no right or wrong way, Charu, as you would know. It's all about, some people would love to see printouts being handed to them, whereas others would absolutely panic if you give a printout because they're more environmentally conscious, right? So these are small things, but ultimately these small things add up. So do take a note of these things. And one mantra, Charu, if I may put it, put yourself in your put yourself in the internship offerer's place. So say for example, you needed an intern. What would have been the things that you would have wanted out of that intern? You would have wanted that intern to basically make your life simple, smooth, so that you could go out and play golf, right? So make sure that you go out and do all the things that you would have liked in an intern that you would have hired. I think that's the most simple and basic and basic way about going and doing your internship. So be the intern that you would have liked to hire, and I don't think you can go wrong from that.
So
Yeah.
I think you have covered my next question also. I was about to ask you, how do you convert your internships into the job offers? Is there anything else you would like to add to that?
Be consistent. I would say it's not just enough to do good work once, because even in our profession, Charu, as you would know, you're only good as your last transaction. You're only good as the review that your last client gives. You cannot rest on your laurels. So consistency is something that's absolutely required. And um, be eager, because and often I see, like, yeah, I think as soon as a Charu, as long be the intern that you would have liked to hire, I think that sums it up. So anytime you have a doubt, just exchange places with your boss and see what you
Right.
would have liked, and you can't go wrong. You guys are smart, intelligent adults, so I trust you to make the right decision. Yeah.
And there is a query, how do we make most of this lockdown period? What all essential skills, soft skills that these guys are asking that we should work on?
So, Charu, I think what's happened is, because of this lockdown, I think there's a certain amount of panic that's set in, where everyone feels this urge to overwork themselves. And what I am seeing, I don't know what about you, but what I am seeing is, people are trying to do a lot of things at the same time. And while it's good to try a lot of things, but I also think that you should devote a certain amount of time to each thing. So what's happening is, all of you are doing many things, but not really giving in the attention or the time that it requires. So it's okay to, what I would say is, set a target of achieving two things that you would have otherwise not been able to achieve if your university was ongoing. Don't put too many things on your palette, because what it will do, it will also set you into a panic mode if you're not able to accomplish what you'd set out to do. So be limited in your goals, make sure you achieve them, because once you achieve it, you feel a sense of accomplishment. And what it also does, it helps you to put the number of hours or the time that initiative really requires. Don't just write an article for the sake of writing. You should be able to speak about it when asked to speak about it. So put that amount of time. And what you can do, I mean, you could concentrate on totally going the academic route and just concentrating on that particular facet, or choose to go under a route where pursue your hobbies, things for which you wouldn't have had time. And trust me, those things add value to the CV. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have to list three skills that students should focus on, what would they be?
Oh my God, that's I have a whole laundry list, Charu. Three things, three qualities. Okay, be focused. Okay, I think that's very important. Be focused, be diligent, consistent. Be diligent and consistent, and be on the lookout. When I say that, be eager to learn more new things and new skills that come by your way, and always be open to learning, Charu. I'm sure even at your stage and even at my stage, we are learning daily. So I
Yeah,
think it's
learning is
important.
continuous.
Correct,
And
correct,
that is the idea behind starting EBC learning, was one,
correct,
bridge the gap between the college school learning and the practice. And
correct.
second, we all are continuous learner. I mean, we keep
Yes,
on learning. Every day is a new day, every day is something we have to learn.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, before I go for anything else, I would just like to tell our viewers about your initiative, internship bank that you have started. Now,
Yes,
this is a very noble thing that she has started. This is on pro bono basis. She's putting her time, effort, and money without expecting anything and
absolutely.
helping her out. She, remember, she is a full time lawyer, a capital market lawyer. So you can understand how much pressure she must be in. But as a first generation lawyer, she realized that she needs to give back to the society also. And she started this internship bank. Now, Debalina, I would like you to tell them about, and before I give it to her, I will tell you that she's quite strict. If you don't fulfill, if she has secured an internship for you and you are don't perform, then there are consequences also.
Consequences also, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not all good.
So yeah, so Devalina, you just explain to us what is the internship bank about, why you thought about it, and there are a lot of people who are really worried, ma'am, why only for the females you are doing, why not for the others also?
Okay, so let me take those questions one by one, Charu, and let me know if I've missed out on answering any of the questions that you may have had in mind. So I started Internship Bank in mid December 2019, and for a uh, with the aim of providing a platform which would act as a repository of internship opportunities for women that are provided by very senior women professionals. Now, coming to your question as to why only for women, Charu, I don't know about whether things have improved in India or not, but there were two reasons, there were two incidents continuously which I was facing, which made me decide on to bring this initiative. First and foremost was, I've worked in London, I continue to work in Hong Kong, and business trips require me to visit India very often. And in spite of the progress that we say we've been making, and I'm sure we are making, I still see very few women when I either walk into a presentation or for a meeting. So that provoked me to kind of take a step back and think about what I could do to perhaps improve the situation, give internships perhaps as an opportunity to women to hone their skills and perhaps increase their chances of making it to their dream job and thereby continue in the job once they step into the career full-fledgedly. So that was one thing. I felt that there were few women, even in places like London and Hong Kong, where I often find myself being the only women or just one or two of the three women present in an entire meeting or presentation hall. The other reason which prompted me to bring about Internship Bank is I continue to go and teach in various law universities in India. And those are not the top national law schools as we know it. They are lesser known colleges. And I came across some really bright minds. And what I was told is that they really struggled to get internships. And Charu, when I talked to them, these are smart students, and perhaps the only thing that's really pulling them back or not getting them the opportunities that they would ideally like is the fact that they don't have a brand value, or the brand name of their college is not really that accomplished or known, or they don't have a strong alumni network. So combining these things, the underrepresentation of women in the profession, and the fact that students of lesser known colleges really struggle to get internship opportunities, I combined the two of these and brought about this platform. Charu, what else do you want to know about Internship Bank? Okay, before, one thing I really want to stress is Internship Bank is not just a repository of internship opportunities. So I don't just step away after connecting the internship offerer and the intern. I will be with you throughout the process, meaning I will train you for interviews. So the way Internship Bank offers is you go to our website, check out the internships that are advertised there, see where you are a good fit, and then fill in the online application form on the website. And once you've completed that, what happens is I do a preliminary check to see if you satisfy the very basic criteria which the internship offerer has laid out. And if you do, I invite you for an interview with myself first. So that's a very friendly one-to-one chat where I try and see the best qualities that I can put forth on your behalf to the internship offerer. So I'm your friend throughout the entire process, and there's no need to feel scared of me. And I want you to be absolutely honest with me about any hiccups that you might think you might face in your application process. So once I've interviewed you and I feel you're a suitable candidate, I'll put forth your name to the internship offerer. Now, the internship offerer can have additional compliances required from your end. So he or she could further interview you. And if they do, I will train you for the interview. So I'm there. Internship Bank is there with you throughout the process. It's not like I step back or Internship Bank steps back after simply introducing both the internship offerer and the intern. So we review your CV, we format your CV if we think that you are a good candidate for the particular advertised position. We interview you and prepare you for the interview. And even during your internship, we are there with you to guide you through the process. So you will have an external mentor in the form of either myself or one of my teammates throughout the process. And that's what I think really distinguishes Internship Bank in the sense that we are not just trying to bring about to you internship opportunities. We are providing you a platform whereby you have a mentorship opportunity, both externally in the form of myself and my teammates, but also while at internship, you are being placed with a senior established women professional who will be acting as your mentor. And Charu, as you know, that's an excellent thing. How many of us had this kind of a benefit when we were interning? And what it also does is it provides you with a role model. We as women, we often lack the role model in flesh and blood. We are often left to deal with women role models who we hear about on television and read about them in magazines. So through an internship via Internship Bank, you are placed under a woman mentor who could be a role model, and unconsciously or consciously, you could pick up on the ideas and the way she maneuvers herself through all the problems that she faces in her office. And that would definitely help you once you are a senior yourself, So it provides you mentorship, it provides you with a role model, and it provides you with internship opportunities. So that's what Internship Bank does. Yeah.
You are doing a great job. I mean, I have
Thanks,
to
Charo. Thank
congratulate you for
you.
that. And Debolina has been able to secure internship at MNCs also. I
Yes,
can tell you that
yes, yes,
quite
yes.
a few she's been able to secure
But,
internship.
but,
Apart from
but
the lawyers, even the
Yes,
yeah.
but Charu, let me say this, Internship Bank is only as good as the internship offers that we receive. And it's not just my effort or my team's effort. There have been so many women who have so graciously and so helpfully come forward. And my eternal thanks to them. There's still many women who are so excited about the fact that we are joining hands to help others, and they are as excited or perhaps at times more excited than the interns, at this concept. And I'm most thankful to each and every one of them who have come forward in the past and continue to come forward to help us in this initiative. So Internship Bank wouldn't survive, Charu, had we not had the opportunities that are being extended by senior women professionals. But let me tell you another thing that I often get asked is quality being compromised? Because people see it as a very reserved platform. So I often get a doubtful questions as to whether there is being any compromise on the quality of students. Let me tell you, the only thing my students will lack, if you call it lacking, is the brand value of the university. So my students on their CV, when you speak to them, you'll get to know they are aces from their class. So they have the academic qualification, they have the extracurricular activities. The only thing they don't have is perhaps a reference, simply because they are first generation professionals, or they can't, or they lack the brand value of a big university name. So those are the only two things that you would find missing from the CVs or the profiles that are forwarded via Internship Bank. So we definitely don't compromise on quality.
Great.
So yeah.
One last question that I will take from my side. That is about remote internships. Do companies give any weightage to remote internships or not? And how do you look at remote internships?
So yes, I mean, I probably sound like a broken recorder by now, but anything that you do which shows that you're investing your time, energy, and focus into something constructive adds value to your CV and thereby promotes you as a candidate who stands a better chance at getting the job that you want. So remote internships definitely add value. But let me tell you something. On the face of it, remote internships might sound very easy, where you're working from the comfort of your home, and perhaps there are not those strict boundaries that you would have faced if you were to do your internship in person. But those of you who are opting for remote internships, especially during this lockdown period, please set a few things clearly. When you are accepting the remote internship, do communicate the time that you would be available for to do the internship on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. There must be a clear communication and more communication, simply because your internship offerer does not have the benefit of seeing you work in person. So what's important is you keep him or her apprised about the daily work that you're doing, by way of a summary email, and lay out an agenda or a target of what you want to achieve the very next day. It's very important that when you're doing remote internship, you let the person know of what you are actually doing, because misunderstandings are so easy to creep up, Charu, if the person is not having the benefit of seeing you work at your desk. The other thing is, in remote internships, the general presumption is you're available throughout the day. You're at home. So what else do you have? And I think that's a very wrong assumption, because at home you could have other commitments, and it's very difficult to balance with all the distractions that come with being at home. So it's very important that you set out and you communicate clearly to your internship offerer, saying that you would be available from this time to this time, fully committed. And during the other times, there might be a delay or a slight delay in response from your side, simply because you're engaged in other activities. So it's very important to be honest upfront in remote internships, because otherwise misunderstandings can really creep up. Also apprise him or her, I know I might sound silly when I say this, but apprise him or her of your network connectivity issues, because not everyone has the fast speed network that many of us have. What I'm trying to say is set the expectations, so that from the very start, and always under set the expectations than overstate them, because if you understate the expectations and you over deliver, I think that's an excellent thing, whereas if it's the other way around, I think you're in trouble. So effectively communicate every single day, set out your targets so that you yourself are disciplined and focused to sit in a particular way and complete the task that you've set out to do. And clearly, absolutely set out the expectations between, so that there is no doubt as to what is expected out of you and what you'll deliver. Yeah.
Right. So now I will start taking queries from our participants. I'll
Sure.
go from the first last query that has come, so I'll scroll up rather than scroll down.
Okay.
So the first one I'm starting, it is, so the person is asking, and I'm just reading it out. Ma'am, usually first year students don't have experience, and people from good backgrounds manage to get internship using their backgrounds. This provides a head start to them, and they finally secure top internship throughout their career. How do you suggest people without any background to get good internship and perform better than those with a background?
Check out Internship Bank. We have so many internship opportunities for first year students. But of course, that's one platform you can avail of. But let me tell you that um, so as I mentioned earlier, your first opportunity will depend, your first internship opportunity will depend on the activities that you've done internally and externally in the university. So even something as organized, so don't forget to mention your achievements in detail in the CV, because everyone knows you're a first year and you can only do so much, but it's so important for you to make sure you are creating either opportunities for yourself, in the sense, go and do the pro bono activities that are out there. Grab every small event where you can help out in the university, and slowly it will, one event, when you help out in one particular event, that will lead to another new opportunity. So it's like a chain reaction, and that will lead you to build your qualifications. And once that is done, I don't think you'll have a problem getting the right kind of internship. One thing I really want to mention out here is, it's not just about your qualifications, it's also how you put in the application. So when you're putting in your application, as I said, make sure your cover letter matches the requirements of the internship offerer. You provide as much detail of yourself in the first email so that there is no back and forth. Because Charu, honestly speaking, when I get an application that is more detailed than an application where there are so many vacuum or gaps, I am more tempted to forward the application that has already got all the details in it, because going that back and forth means extra effort on my part, and everyone's struggling with their time. So definitely a person who puts in all the information that is required, carefully reads through the job advertisement, stands a better and a greater chance of getting through an internship opportunity. So keep in close touch with your seniors to see which internships they did when they were in their first years, and try and approach those institutions. That's also another good way of making sure that you get an internship offer. And not everyone goes by reference, Charu. I'm sure
Yeah.
there are good people out there who are willing to give that chance, and I can vouch for the number of good people I've come across my way. So don't get disheartened. Yeah.
And some people are asking about the power of LinkedIn in securing internship. Your take on that?
Oh, LinkedIn is absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. What I say is that LinkedIn does many things. Firstly, it gives you a glimpse of and it keeps you updated of what's happening around you. So, what are students of similar background and similar standard as yours are up to? You get ideas. Okay, if that student is doing that, perhaps even I could do it. When you see a student hosting a webinar or speaking at a webinar, that gives you an idea, as well as the confidence that if he or she can do it, why can't I? So you get ideas. Secondly, what LinkedIn does is, say, for example, you want to become like Miss So and so or Mr. So and so. LinkedIn will give you an access to their profile, and it will give you an access to their entire profile, whereby you get to see the courses they did, the jobs they secured. So it gives you it maps out your ideal person's life right in front of you and shows you the steps, gives you a sense of direction of what you can perhaps do or what you need to do to get up to that level. So, so
And
LinkedIn
some,
is absolutely essential. Yes.
and some people are asking if they have qualifications. I mean, they have done online courses like we also offer,
Yes.
but they are talking about Coursera and edX. What do you think?
Sorry, they are
What
saying.
if you look at the online courses that some person has completed, how
Yeah.
does it reflect on the CV? I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, anything, Charu, I think I'm sounding like a broken recorder now, but anything that shows you that you've put in some kind of an effort, focus, and time. But when doing such courses, please remember that it's not the number of courses that you've done really add to your to your CV. Numbers do matter, but people can read through your CV. A 6-month internship is of much more value than 2 weeks of internship. A 3 months internship is of much value than 3 weeks internship. So people, we are intelligent. We've walked the path that you guys are probably going to be walking on. So don't just concentrate on the number, and don't just concentrate on the easy online courses. So the take would be, take something out from the course itself. It's not just enough to do the courses. Charu, if I may, also going back to the previous question, if I may, LinkedIn also allows you to connect to individuals who you wouldn't have otherwise had a chance to connect with, So for people like us, I'm a first generation lawyer myself. It gives you that, it opens up a world for you to reach out to people and to connect with them. So absolutely essential. Sorry, I'm a big LinkedIn fan, Charu. I think it's
yeah,
obvious.
that is nice. I mean, it is LinkedIn has become essential, and
Yes.
there are many congratulatory messages for you about the internship ban.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
And
you.
there are some people they are saying if you want to volunteer, can we do at internship ban?
Yes, but maybe after a couple of years, Charu, because not a couple of years, sorry, that's way too long. Maybe after a year, because we are still doing a lot of groundwork right now, which I don't think would be fair for interns to help out with, because I want them to really do a proper internship. I want us to reach to a level where when you say you've interned with Internship Bank, people just grab you for a job or give you the next internship offer immediately. So I don't want to take interns right now simply because I don't have enough to keep you busy, or those are too administrative. Not to say again administrative work is any less or should be looked down upon, but I want to add a little more value to your CV. So give me a few more months and I'm sure I'll be out. My teammates would be more than happy to receive more volunteers and interns, but not right now. So maybe 6-7 months down the line, we will put up an advertisement out there on Internship Bank. Yeah.
And then there is this one person who wants to know from you, how did you reach your current firm? I mean, what was your journey like?
Go
How
and
did
check my
you?
LinkedIn profile. Go and check my LinkedIn profile and see what I've done. So um, Charu, basically, I followed what I'm saying right now. You know, I grabbed every opportunity that came my way. I maintained good relationships with people. I'm known as a people's person. And have that belief in yourself that it is difficult as a first generation lawyer. There is no doubt about it. But if I can do it, so can all of you do it. So it is very, very doable. Be humble. I think it's all about relationship building. But to just give a brief background about myself, I passed out from NUJS. I worked at Amarchand Mangaldas. And after that, you know, I applied for a job at Ashurst in London. And lo and behold, I made through it. But what I really did was learn at every job that I was extended, because I knew my best bet. I didn't have references or networking, as they call it. My best bet was to learn what was offered to me at the job and keep your eyes open for what your other seniors are doing. And that's why I say LinkedIn is very, very important, because it gives you a bird's eye overview of what others are up to, which you wouldn't have otherwise known if you didn't have that kind of an exposure. So be aware of what others are doing. So when I went, I applied to Ashurst in London simply because I saw my seniors around me at Amarchand apply to foreign jobs abroad. So keep your eyes and ears open and be willing to learn. And I think it all falls by, you know, when things are meant to happen, it all falls by. Yeah.
Then there is again a query whether your law firm, does they take interns from India, and how do you secure internship from with foreign law firms?
Okay. So currently we are not accepting interns from abroad, Charu, because we have visa issues. The idea being that if we take interns, it has to be at least for a minimum of 6 months, simply because it's difficult because of the visa issues out here. Now, I've always believed in something is taking what I called the backstepping. It's not backstabbing. It's called the backstepping concept. And what I mean by that is, if you want to get a foreign internship, go and check out the application forms of these firms which offer or take in foreign interns beforehand, a year in advance. So go and check out the application forms, you know, and see what are the requirements, what is the firm asking out of those students, and make sure then the activities that you undertake in that 1 year prior to your actual application actually match to the requirements of what the foreign internship place is requiring for. So I would suggest, guys, if you're really interested, go to say websites of ANO, go to websites of Herbert Smith, see what is the application form requirements. What are they requesting of you? And it's almost like taking, instead of sitting with the application form and filling it out, you've checked the application form 2 years in advance, a year in advance. And trust me, these application forms don't change every year. No one has that time and energy. So what you do is, if the application form asks you a question like, what have you done in this area, go and make sure that in these 2 years that you've given yourself to apply for that internship, you undertake those activities, so that when you sit to fill out that form, you have everything charted and mapped out for you, and you can fill out everything as quickly as possible. So that's a good step that I personally have found helpful. So this just does not apply to internships, a place where you want to apply for a job. Go and see the profiles of people who've actually made through that job, and see what courses they have done, what have they achieved, and try to do the same thing yourself, and more likely than not you will definitely succeed. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is one question that we have been talking about soft skills and maintaining relationships and all.
Yeah.
There is one person who says that I am an introvert. What about me? How can people like me have developed a relationship because I'm so introvert?
No, there are different concepts. So the way I understand introvert is that you are scared, or not scared. You are less likely to come forward to speak in a group of people. So for me, Charu, that's how I understand an introvert to mean. And I could be wrong, but what as an introvert, what you can do is always have that one-to-one conversation. And trust me, in today's world, people really appreciate that. You simply dropping an email to someone, being in touch consistently, not to the point of irritating the person or stalking the person, but just being genuinely, because people will know when you're trying to be in touch for a particular reason. People are intelligent, so don't assume anyone will not realize why you are being in touch. So a genuine person does come across. And so what I really say is that if you are an introvert, start with just being friendly with one person on a one-to-one basis, and it will become a habit. I think once you start to engage with a person, you will get to learn how to go about it, and how to talk and to move on. So it'll just become easier for you. Yeah. Charu, I think your computer's got
Yeah, my network has got hand. I'll just give me 2 minutes. I'll just
yeah,
join
sure,
again.
sure. Hi, Abhinandan.
Yes. Hi, Debalina.
Hi.
I I suppose that while we wait for Charu, you could take some questions from the chat. I don't know which
Absolutely.
one she's covered.
Yeah, I was wondering who webinar host is all the time, and now I get to hear you out.
I was
Good,
just
continue.
see,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't know which ones she's taken and which ones you've answered. So do you have the chat option with you? You can
Yes,
open the
I do
chat and just
actually.
look at some interesting questions that you might want to answer
Okay, I've
and
opened
take it from there.
that, but okay. Oh my God, there's so many questions.
Yeah, so just go with the
Oh
one
my
that you find
God.
interesting till we wait for Charu to join us again.
Um,
Anyone that you haven't already.
there's so long questions. I'm still reading one question.
Okay.
Okay, so let me take this. Should first year students intern at district court lawyer or Supreme Court lawyer if if you have an opportunity, always start from the bottom and then make your way up. That would be my response. And the reason being that is that you then get a holistic view of the entire legal system, and it also looks good on your CV, and you're on no pressure, just because imagine if you do your first internship at the Supreme Court of India. What happens is that you not only miss out on getting a holistic view about what the lower level courts are all about, but what happens is in the second year, you have to absolutely make sure that you again get through a Supreme Court internship. So my advice would definitely be start at the district court and then make your move upwards. The same goes for even other kinds of internships. So start with an NGO. I know most interns start off with, most first year students start off with
Hello.
NGO placements, simply because they don't
Yeah.
have that much of legal experience, and then they make their
Okay.
way upwards. So it's what all of you should try and do during your time in university is try and intern in as many different places as possible, and that should be your mantra during your time in law school. Okay, is it necessary to tailor your internships with your end goal in mind? What if at the end of one's fifth year, one still doesn't know what field to go on? So it's absolutely fine not to know what you really want to do, even in your fifth year or fourth year. There are many people who've actually joined the profession, who've worked at law firms and then realized that the legal profession is not made for them, and they've done really well in other fields. They've taken they took the very brave decision of changing their course even after joining the profession. So the first thing being that it's absolutely fine for you to not know what you want to do even in your fourth or fifth year. So don't think you are the only person who's going through that. And as regards tailoring your internship, see, some of us have a passion for certain subjects. So say, for example, you absolutely know you want to be an intellectual property law lawyer. You absolutely know that, and there's nothing more you want to do. Then in that case, it does help if you tailor make your CV. But do note that you run the risk of losing out on exploring other opportunities, which you never gave yourself a chance to examine. But if you're absolutely sure, yes, tailor-made CVs do help you in that regard. It shows a certain consistency and focus of mind and helps you develop that consistent track record of achievements. But if you are not sure, as I was, I dabbled in a lot of things, because at my time, at least when I joined as an associate in Amarchand, we did not have a training contract format, and you were only placed with one single department. So I've always known how to be a capital markets lawyer. I did dabble a little bit into corporate law and banking law, but I've always been a capital markets lawyer. And for good or for worse, I don't know really how the other areas of law operate, except for my internship stint at university. So I would absolutely, if you have the slightest doubt, my advice would be to dabble in as many areas of law before you close the doors, before you absolutely say you don't like this subject and you never want to take it up as your job specialization. So internship should be used to not just know what you like doing, but what you don't like doing and what you don't want to do. So therefore, it's important to dabble in as many types and varieties of internships that you allow yourself during university. But having said that, a 2-week internship adds no value to your resume. So do when you're doing internships, do make sure that it is for a particular period of time and shows a consistent effort in that subject area.
Right.
I think you've shared your screen with me.
Yeah. I was just trying because I was not my video is not loading, so I just shared my screen, and
Okay,
now I think we are encroaching upon your time because 1 hour that we had commitment from you, that is done. So I would
yes,
just like to quickly show them our website.
sure,
Uh, yeah. So
yes.
this is our platform ebclearning.com. So around 38 courses are there. We have got a lot of courses on IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. I have designed 2 of them, and there are others on valuation, which is the niche, very niche course. Then we have got arbitration. We have got lot of cases on mediation, arbitration, that is the ODR space we are covering. We have got banking practice, competition law, criminal law, contract law, whole gamut of courses are there. One of the special things that I wanted to show you is we have a course on legal skills. So which will be very essential for you. How do you conduct yourself when you apply for internship or even when you are on job. So my suggestion for all the students who are going for internship is to have a look at our course on the legal skills. I'm not just telling it because it is a course from our platform, but this is one course which, even after 2 decades of being in the profession, it still helped me. It is one of, just give me a moment. Yeah, this is the course that I am talking to you about. This is a course called Essential Skills for the Legal Profession. It tells you various things, like even how to read a file, how to mark a file, how you should dress up if you have to go before the arbitrator, or if you have to go to court, or if you have to go to brief the senior, or if you are intern, what you are supposed to know, how you should behave and build relationship with the staff of the registry, which is very essential if you are a litigating lawyer. So this is one course which I think will be very beneficial to all the law students, as well as to the people who are entering into the profession and anybody who wants to learn about. Apart from them, this we have got other a lot of social media presence we have recently started. So this is my page on Facebook. Similarly, we have page on Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the other social media platforms. So yeah, and the last word from Debolina. What will it be? I'll just give me a minute. I'm just struggling to. I pause sharing. Now you can start.
Sorry, you want to know my last words?
Yeah.
So last words would be definitely help each other out. It's not just about you succeeding or you doing well. So my earnest request would be to all of you to definitely help each other out, because we all need to succeed as a group and pull each other out, and do apply through for internships via Internship Bank, and just drop us a line in case you have any questions. Yeah.
Yeah. You can always reach us out. You can reach me out. Dovelina is also on lot many social networks. You can check out her website, Internship Bank. And that's it. Thank you so much, Debolina, for giving us your time.
No problem. Always happy to. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And my computer is little. There are some more queries which are coming.
You
Fine.
want
That
me?
is just the thank you notes that are coming. Thank you so much, Debolina. And thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye
Stay
bye.
safe. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.